Thank you, Madam. May I request the Honorable President Shri Pranab Mukherjee to kindly guide us and enlighten us on this occasion.
Srimati Sonia Gandhi, Sri A.K. Antony, Sri P. Chidambaram, Sri Kopil Shibal, Srimati Chandresh Kumari Katuj, Swami Vivekananda ji, General Secretary Ramakrishna Mission, Srimati Sangita Gairola, Secretary Ministry of Culture, Sri Ravinder Singh, Additional Secretary Ministry of Culture, Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a privilege for me to be present in this afternoon to pay homage to a great son of India. His appearance in Indian scenario is described like the trail of a blazing comet in the sky. In a short span of 38-39 years of his life, he not only galvanized the Indian society, but also preached the message, eternal message of humanity, universal brotherhood, love and affection, which is the essence of Indian culture and civilization to the West. His address at the Religion of Parliament at Chicago in 1893, when he was just 30 years old, not only stirred those who present there at the Parliament of Religion, but it stirred the rest of India. He was born 1863 on this date in Calcutta in a middle class family. That time was very important in the history of India, because that is the decade which produced some of the finest brains, which ultimately led to the liberation of India, not only from political slavery, but from various other aspects of life. He was 2 years junior to Rabindranath Tagore, who was born in 1861. He was 6 years senior to Mahatma Gandhi, who was born in 1869. And both of them recognized the profound influence which Vivekananda had on their lives. Vivekananda was not a political preacher. He did not convey any message on politics. But the Ramakrishna Mission, which he established in 1897, which has completed more than 100 years of its existence, as it has been pointed out, has now more than 300 units all over India and in rest of the world, and which are carrying on the message of Swami Vivekananda and Thakur Ramakrishna, where they have conveyed one fundamental message, that nothing is above man. Serving man is the best way to serve God. That's why it was possible for him to say, after visiting all over the country on foot, he identified this whole of India in his attempt to discover India. And he pointed out in one of his observations that I consider every man a traitor who has been educated himself at the cost of the society, at the cost of the millions who are deprived, as they are not contributing their might, discharging their social obligations to the steaming millions. It was not surprising for him to advise that to build up an able body, sound mind, and good health and good education is more important than to go through the religious scriptures. As I mentioned, contribution of Ramakrishna Mission in shaping the future liberation movement is well recognized. Her disciple, Sister Nivedita, was a constant source of inspiration to those brave sons and daughters who sacrificed their lives for the liberation of our country. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was highly influenced by his teachings. Ladies and gentlemen, in a long observation on teachings of Swamiji, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru observed, I quote, "I do not know how many of the younger generation have read the speeches and writings of Swami Vivekananda, but I can tell you that many of my generation were very powerfully influenced by him, and I think that it would be a great deal of good to the present generation if they also went through the Swami Vivekananda's writings and speeches, and they would learn so much from them. If you read Swami Vivekananda's writings and speeches, the curious thing you will find is that they are not old. He gave us something which brings to us, if I may use the word, a certain pride in our inheritance. What Swamiji has written and said is of interest and must interest us and is likely to influence us for a long time to come. Directly or indirectly, he has powerfully influenced the India of today. And I think that our younger generation will take the advantage of this fountain of wisdom, of spirit and life that flows with Swami Vivekananda. Unquote. As Defense Minister Sri A.K. Antony has pointed out, it was decided by the National Commemoration Committee chaired by Prime Minister himself, and the Implementation Committee, which is currently chaired by the Defense Minister, decided to preach the education, particularly value education of Swami Vivekananda, and number of programs were undertaken by the National Implementation Committee with the cooperation of Ramakrishna Mission to bring his ideas, teachings, speeches, writings in different languages. I am told that work is going on. We had the privilege, and I consider myself a privileged one to have the opportunity as the then chairman of the Implementation Committee to unveil a plaque at the Arts Center of Chicago, where in 1893 at the Religion of Parliament he addressed the world. I understand a memorandum of understanding has been signed with the Chicago University to establish a chair to carry on the studies on different aspects of the life, teachings, and relevance of Swami Vivekananda. I thank and gratefully recognize the contribution made by the Ministry of Finance in this regard, and also bringing out the commemoration coins to celebrate the 150th year of the Swami Vivekananda Jayanti. I thank the Ministry of Finance and also bringing out the commemoration coins to celebrate the 150th year of the Swami Vivekananda Jayanti. I thank the Ministry of Finance of Swami Vivekananda's birth, and also the postage stamps which have been decided to be released and right now released by the Ministry of Communication. As Swami Vivekananda ji has pointed out, the programs which have been undertaken will take some time to complete, but the message of Swami Vivekananda should be conveyed, and just not through ritualism, but trying to understand the powerful impact he had in the contemporary India and which may have even in the future. I would conclude by quoting a few lines from the observations of an eminent British historian, A.L. Bassam, when he said, in regard to the Swamiji's contribution to world culture, I quote, "In centuries to come, he will be remembered as one of the most powerful molders of the modern world," unquote. With these words, I thank the Implementation Committee for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share some of my perceptions with this distinguished gathering. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the patience. Jai Hind.